Aquarius 30, the field of Ardath in bloom. Well, this field of Ardath is from Babylon, a mystical field where nature was at its highest exaltation, and a sense of being in the presence of God was felt. That's the image of the field of Ardath. Now the image represents the twofold kind of possibilities. First of all, of reaching that state of being, and any one of us can do that. This is not at all unusual when you're on spiritual retreat, to get into that awareness that you're a part of it all, that there is no distinction between God and self, that there's a continuity. How could it be otherwise? We're an emanation of the source, a ray of light or a facet of unity. And unity has expressed itself in diverse ways, and we're an aspect of diversity. So when we look towards God, we're looking away from separation towards unity and the source of everything. And yet when God looks away from itself, it looks through our eyes. And we all see reality differently. And this is the experience that God is having of seeing all of the various possibilities of what could be by making them so, just for a moment, and then something different, and something different again, something different again. And each of us is creating those new facets of possibility by being who we are. So that's our job, to create creation for the Creator as an aspect of it. Now, this is not just philosophy. Books that teach this are easily dismissed. But if you actually have the experience that is so, it's not easily dismissed at all. That remembering stays with you for a lifetime. And we can contact this experience known here as the field of Ardath, this sense of being one with the one. We can know that feeling by certain practices. And the exaltation of that feeling, the essence, the highest point of that feeling, I would suggest does come through spiritual practice. We need to do that to get to that state. However, in order to get to that state readily, at will almost, the practices of life are an important aspect that underpin that possibility. In other words, it's not just enough to be a meditator and then go and live raucously. It doesn't work. You have to create your life out of your meditative experiences. In other words, peacefully, in a centered and emotional way. You have to live your life as much like that as you can. Equivalently, when you do have that peaceful way of living, then to move into the state of meditation is relatively easy. Probably do it every morning if you do your meditations right. And then you can revisit this sense of knowledge of God, and God being both unity and diversity. The idea that God is out there somewhere else and something else or someone else is wrong. That's false. That's a misinterpretation. That's a device of religions, basically, to separate us ordinary people from the essence of who we are, which is extraordinary, and it's God. And that separation has occurred because we were taught wrongly, badly, and probably on purpose. And the Catholic Church, for example, would only allow somebody to access God through a priest. And the priest would have the ability to read the Bible. And for quite a long time, as the hundreds of years passed, nobody else could read the Bible because there were no printing presses. Now we've got internet, and all of us can actually publish the word that we feel is the word of God, and then you can make up your mind which works for you. So the direct experience of God was forbidden us for so long that we came to understand something wrong, that we are separate from God. And now we just have to claim that that's not true, that we are a part of God, that we can reconnect with the source of who we are, which is God. And end that idea that God's over there and we're over here, and when we die we get to see God and not before. That's just nonsense. That's not true. God is as present here and now as it ever will be. And it's not he or a she or a person. It's a state of grace. And this is what is meant by the field of Ardath, I think. And the idea that it's a field, kind of an interesting use of the word field, because field applies as much to an electrical magnetic field of energy as it does a field with grass in it. And no doubt most people will interpret this as the grassy version, but I would like to interpret it as this field of electromagnetic energy, which is beingness, which is life itself, and it's charged, positive or negative, and we interact with it, and we interact with it according to our expectations. And if we apply our expectation of knowledge of God onto this field, then what we perceive is our best version of God. So we create God by imagining how it is. And if we create God to be angry and fearful, like Jewish people used to do, then that's what they get for a God. They call it Jehovah, and it is angry and so on. But if you actually create God in the image of Christ, then it's much more loving and peaceful and gentle. However, self-sacrificing. So that's your image of God, that you have to give things up in order to know God, and sacrifice yourself in order to be one with God. So you can do that if you like, if you want to be a Christian. But I don't. I don't want to sacrifice any part of myself. In fact, I want to claim all of the potential that I have, and I want to create my God to be a God that supports me in this and wants me to be everything I can be. And strangely enough, mystically enough, I find that when I do that, I'm all of what I am, and I sing with my whole voice and project my whole sense of self into the world. Then I actually feel one with God, and I feel that God is happy with me. So that's my image of God. And I think all of us have to make it up for ourselves. But my God has got mischievous sense of humour, loves to dance, loves nature, is tickled pink when I get another snippet of understanding of what it's like to be God. And when I pretend to be God, he likes me best of all. That's my God. That's what I've invented for myself. And it works really well for me. So I think that's what Aquarius 30 is all about.